Well, an all too familiar sight. Oh man. Alright, what's up you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to more NFT content, which I'm sure most of you guys have been liking that. That's probably why most of you guys have followed the channel, because of this badass slash bad unit right here, man. So, as you guys saw in the last video, if you follow the channel, if not, go check out the last video and all other videos prior to that about NFT. Struggle bus. So, last video we went testing again, Pueblo. That one, to put it blunt, was a shit show. Tearing axles, the mechanical fuel pump falling off, just spinning, just wheel hopping. It just wasn't a good outing. So anyways, it's been a couple days since testing. Finally got time to start working on NFT tonight to get it ready for one more test session at PMP this year. So all the other test sessions, I'll be out of town. I won't be able to make them. So this Friday is the last one that I'm going to be able to attend this season. If this test session goes good, which I got very good hopes and very good feeling that it will, because we're going to kind of revert back to the stuff that we were doing last year. Plus, I know what's up with the front subframe. So, as you guys saw, if you watched the last video, you guys know that I was having issues with the lower control arm over here popping out, tearing the front CV axle on the front, and that was my fault. So, when I put the trans back in, the transmission, on the passenger side, this brace slash plate is supposed to go on there, and that holds the back of the subframe to the front of the subframe, and it keeps the subframe from doing this action. Well, when I put the transmission back in, I didn't put this plate back on for whatever reason. I mean, it's kind of annoying to take it off to drop the transmission, and it was like, I should have put it back on. Now, hard lessons learned. So that prevents the subframe from spreading. Well, talking to some of the guys that have been doing this a lot longer than me, well, they have been drag racing a lot longer than me, so I've been working on these cars for a long time now, but they got more experience on the track and trying to launch these cars hard. Well, when you try to launch these cars hard, if you don't have these braces in, apparently the subframe can move like 3 inches. Well, it was moving enough to pop out the lower control arm, and moved enough for the slick to hit the front bumper, and that's more than like 3 inches away. Like over here, I'll show you guys. As you can see, it kind of tore up this area here. So I'll get a hammer and kind of beat it back into place. And this is the second time it's happened, obviously. But look how like the slick isn't too much bigger than this. So like, look at that gap. Like it was moving a lot. That's about 4 inches, you know. Is it 4 inches? Maybe. That's about 4 inches. So I know what to do. I have that bracket, but I got some flat stock. I'm just gonna make some just strap brackets pretty much, so that subframe can't bend or separate. So I'll get that fixed. I'll get the CV axle boot. I think the clamp just busted off the one that I have in here, so I'll knock that out, get a new clamp on it, get the grease and everything all cleaned up. And the front end should be good. I am going to investigate though, because some Christian, he's got now the fastest Galant in the world. Shout out to Christian, congrats on that. And he's got the fastest H pattern 4G63 in Colorado now, so shout out to him on that. But he informed me that if you don't put those braces on, the subframe, when it spreads, it could crack. So I'm gonna get this thing jacked up a little bit farther so I can roll underneath it better, get the wheels and everything off, and I'm gonna kind of scan the subframe to make sure we don't have no cracks. Fingers crossed that we don't got no cracks, or if we do, they're in some easy spots for me to MIG weld them up, slap a little paint on, and it should be good. But hopefully there's no cracks. And then also, I know I'm rambling on here, but I'm trying to get you guys filled in. The last I think 2 passes on, if you guys watched the video, for sure the last one, the car was definitely just front wheel drive. The second to last pass, it maybe didn't feel front wheel drive, but I know for sure when I launched the car on the last pass, it felt front wheel drive. And in the video, we got left and right side. If you guys watched the last video, I put it in there. You can tell the front wheels are just spinning. So I got this thing home, I got it up on jacks and I started testing it. And I was like, man, what the heck? Like when I was spinning the wheels, all 4 wheels are spinning. I even started the car up, threw it in gear, all 4 wheels were spinning. And I'm just like, it's not making sense. Something's not making sense. Clearly on the video, it was front wheel drive. Here testing it on the, you know, it acts as all wheel drive. It wasn't making sense. So I finally started digging deeper into it. Well, we stripped out the driver's side splines on the rear diff again. So this is the second time this has happened. So there must have just been enough engagement for like light load for them to be spinning all 4 tires, but like obviously when I'm launching with like 35 pounds of boost, that was enough for obviously enough torque for the axles not to spin, the tires are gripping and stuff, and the rear end wasn't working. So luckily I got 2 more rear ends because I've been stocking up on parts for this thing. So we're gonna get the rear end swapped, get this one out, slap another 3000 GT rear end in it, and over the winter I'm gonna do a little something to it to hopefully prevent this from happening in the future. But I'll go over that with you guys when that time comes. But for now, we're just gonna do a swap, and this one should last, you know, for testing, and hopefully, I mean, we put this one in the beginning of last year, so the beginning of 2023, we put this rear diff in. So it's lasted a while. We've done a lot of hits and stuff on it, and like we've done a lot of like hard, unnecessary hits. So hopefully, so get that fixed, get the front fixed. We're going to go back down low on tire pressure. I went back to like my original suspension settings, kind of back to the same boost settings that we ended with last year where the car was leaving good. So we're kind of going back a couple steps with the settings, and hopefully we'll get the car to leave good this Friday, fingers crossed. So in this video, we're going to be fixing the front end, getting that good to go, and then swapping the rear diff and getting that good to go, and getting the car pretty much good to go. Current time right now is Wednesday. Testing is Friday, and between working and stuff throughout the day, pretty much today is the only day I got to kind of get this thing good to go, which I've already taken apart most of the rear diff. Axles are out and stuff, so I pretty much just got to unbolt the drive shaft and unbolt the K-member from the diff. The diff's out, so the diff ain't gonna take, but I'll freaking eat my words here, but it shouldn't take but 20 minutes, 20-30 minutes for that. The front subframe, hopefully I don't find no crazy cracks and stuff, so that'll be even quicker. We just gotta build a couple straps, drill a couple holes, and that should go fairly quick too. So with that being said, it's time to GSD. Okay, subframe, whoa, is not bad, 99.9% good. So I took both strut assemblies and everything apart to get a really good look at everything. So the only thing I found is there's that crack like right there. I'm trying to hold the flashlight and point to it. That's a slight crack. It doesn't even go all the way around the top of the subframe. So I'm gonna scuff that up, slap some MIG weld and stuff on that, and that should be good. And then we gotta just get the new clamp on the CV axle. The CV axle is good, not busted. Slap the CV axle back in. I do gotta put a new bushing on that lower control arm right there because it tore that one, but I got another one already. And make the strap to go across the front. So overall, not bad. I wasn't gonna drop the whole subframe, but I took the T-case off, all that type of stuff. So it was just kind of, I didn't see it necessary. I started to do it, started taking stuff apart, and then I was like, yeah, I can see pretty much everything that I need to see. I can see the top, I can see the bottom, I can see, you know, I looked everywhere. I was looking down, you know, I was looking down in here. So everything else looks good. So just that slight little crack, it's not too bad. We'll build a little brace. We'll slap that other brace on that other side, and the front end should be good. So I wanted to check the front end out because if stuff was cracked and it was a mess, then I wasn't even really maybe going to push to go testing this Friday. But it's good. We'll get the front wrapped up, and then we'll slap the rear diff in, and we should be good. So let's get back to GSDing. All right, we got that bad boy welded up. I kind of beefed it up, so it definitely should be good. It was, oh, light, turn this off. It was so minute, you guys, that crack. Like, I'm sure if I didn't even weld it up, it would be fine. But we slapped some weld on it. That way I know, hey, I did everything that I could in case there is another issue with the subframe. So we got that welded up. We just gotta move on to the axle. Once the axle's good, we'll put that back in, lower control arm, get this front back up. Tires back on this, and then we can jack the back up and get the rear disc swap. So make pretty good progress. Keep knocking stuff out. Just DSG or GSD, doing stuff, getting. All right, let's get back to it. Man, talk about being prepared. So when I bought some rear CV boots for the rear axles, some just CV boots, thinking that I was going to need them, because I didn't think CV boots were going to come with the new DSS axles. But anyway, so I had 4 new CV boots. So luckily, it's the same CV boot right here on this guy. So this axle's all greased up, new boot on it, new clamps. So this one's ready to put in. But what I'm going to do also is I'm going to replace the boot on this one. Well, actually, this one doesn't need a boot replace. This one just needs a clamp. And slap this one back together, so that way I have a spare axle. Which, we've only broken one axle, and I think it was kind of like a fluke. But anyways, have spares. So these ones I picked up from Rock Auto. But these guys, they're actually, the shaft is actually a lot beefier than the one I had in there. This cup is beefier. So this is like, it's like kind of like an upgraded axle. It's pretty beefy. But anyways, so I'm gonna slap this guy back in. Still got a bunch of stuff to do. But trying to get it all knocked out, man, before we run out of time tonight. So let's get back to GSDing, because I gotta work tomorrow. Okay, this side's all back together. CV axle's in. See how close that is to hitting the oil pan? So that's what was causing the CV boots to pop off when the front subframe would flex, because it's already close. So it would spin and hit the oil pan, and that's what would cause it to pop off. So it's already close. I had to hammer it down a little bit to give a little bit of clearance, but CV axle, all this side, it's all back together, it's all tight, cotter pinned. So all we got to do is hop underneath brackets. Time to do brackets, bushings, and all that type of stuff. So let's get that front end knocked out real quick. Oh man, I started scrambling and I lost track of the camera, but what I had to go through to get this subframe back in where it's supposed to go. I mean, you guys saw a little bit on that other side what I was doing, but I got ratchet straps that I've implemented to get this control arm and the subframe to go back where it needs to go. So, so what I was judging it off of is this bushing right here. Before, you can see probably like an inch of the control arm shaft sticking out, but so I was able to ratchet it all back together to where it's butted up. That side I knew kind of where I needed to go because this is the OEM factory plate. It was probably a half an inch, yeah, maybe half an inch, 3/4 of an inch. Like it was spread. So same thing as you guys saw a little bit over on that one. I ratchet strapped. I did a ratchet strap from like the front of the subframe to like the back of the car, and then from the back of the subframe to the front of the car, and I like squeezed it together. I got that plate in there. So man, this was a tough lesson learned. So now I know down the road you got to have those in. You have to see. I took them out on my GSX, but my GSX was only like 500 horsepower, and it was probably hurting that then. But I never was doing like crazy launches like this car. This car is obviously different caliber compared to the GSX. So I was like, oh, I had them off that thing forever, and I never had any serious issues and stuff. But now that I think about it, when I get that chassis in here, I'm probably gonna look at the control arms, and they're probably gonna be separated some. So yeah, that bracket's all in there, got the bolts, everything, so that side's good. So over here, what I did is I made a metal strap. So that's some pretty thick metal. I don't know what the 1/8 inch, and so I got it all ratchet strapped together, fabbed this up, and got that in there, because normally the factory bar goes from these two bolt holes, bolts there, and then comes along and bolts up to the stock radiator support. Well, I don't have the stock radiator support obviously anymore, and I'm getting ready to go grab my catch pan to make sure it should clear. When my catch pan goes, yeah, my catch pan, it should clear, but I was afraid that the factory one, if I got one and cut it, that it wasn't going to fit. Plus I don't have one, so I just have to source one. But this metal strap, I mean, obviously that thing did good throughout the whole one, but that strap right there, that metal strap should be plenty. I mean, I took the ratchet straps off just now and it didn't move, so that'd be the telltale sign. Is I'm just gonna let these sit up. I'm gonna let these sit up overnight. I'm calling it for a night. It's getting late. I gotta thrash tomorrow and get this done, but in a blink of an eye, we'll be back out here tomorrow. And we're back. Another day just like that. So off camera, I got the bracket that we made welded up, painted. It's over there hanging, so it's ready to rock on. But before I get that on, I got to zip this bracket off because the damn nut cert for this bolt broke off. So I gotta take care of that real quick, and then we can get the front end finished up finally, and then we can get on to the rear end. So I'm trying to get all this stuff knocked out. It's taking longer than expected, but I really caused a little bit of issues not having these brackets in there and the subframe stretching. I mean, like you can still see, still got the straps and everything to kind of hold it in place until we get that bracket on there. So it's come on baby, that's GSD, let's get it. All right, we're looking good. Brackets in, I got that nut cert in, and I found a bolt because the thread pitch on the nut cert was different, 17 millimeter though, so that's in. Everything's back. As you can see, the bushing is touching the mount where it's supposed to be. It's the same over there. Got the bracket in, got the straps off, as nut and bolt checked everything again with the ratchet, so we're good. We should be good. We're good. So front end is friends 100%. So this thing, this should make a night and day difference on this on how this thing launches, man. I'm just foolish. Luckily nothing major broke, but we're good. We're back together. So now it's time. I got to get the tires on this thing so I can lower this down so I can get the back end up higher so I can work underneath that. So I need to get a lift. I need a shop. I need. Man, talk about being prepared. So when I bought some rear CV boots for the rear axles, some just CV boots, thinking that I was going to need them because I didn't think CV boots were going to come with the new DSS axles. But anyway, so I had 4 new CV boots. So luckily, it's the same CV boot right here on this guy. So this axle's all greased up, new boot on it, new clamps. So this one's ready to put in. But what I'm going to do also is I'm going to replace the boot on this one. Well, actually this one doesn't need a boot replace. This one just needs a clamp. And slap this one back together so that way I have a spare axle. Which we've only broken one axle and I think it was kind of like a fluke. But anyways, have spares. So these ones I picked up from Rock Auto. But these guys, they're actually, the shaft is actually a lot beefier than the one I had in there. This cup is beefier. So this is like, it's like kind of like an upgraded axle. It's pretty beefy. But anyways, so I'm gonna slap this guy back in. Still got a bunch of stuff to do, but trying to get it all knocked out, man, before we run out of time tonight. So let's get back to GSDing. So I gotta work tomorrow. Okay, we got the old busted one, old broke. This one's kind of ugly too, man. The housing needs some loving. But we got this guy, just pulled out of the trailer, but we got to put an expansion plug in here. So I just got back from the parts store grabbing that because I forgot I didn't have one. Okay, so just carry that thing from the trailer. They're not the lightest, they're not the heaviest. So I just gotta pop this freeze plug in there real quick, expansion plug, get that plugged up, and then we can yeah, toss this bad boy back, toss this new fresh unit in the car. Rear end is in. Everything's bolt checked. Just got done filling it with fluid. You gotta wipe that down a little bit because it's got a little seepage around there. But we just did the check. New rear diff. Tires all spin. So rear end should be good. So should be good to go test tomorrow. Before we load up the car and make a 2.5 hour drive though, I am going to do a little test hit on the street over here just to make sure it is all-wheel drive. And we should, on these street tires, we should just light them up. Just pretty much do an all-wheel drive burnout. We'll get that knocked out. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. The next video hopefully is a successful test session. I'm a little tired. The car kind of kicked my butt, but we got it done. I win. I succeed. Now just hopefully the car performs like it should. So anyways, hope you guys enjoy the content. Thank you for watching the video. Stay tuned for the next video because hopefully it's a banger. Hopefully I'm gonna try to send it on that one. I'm gonna turn it up and see what we can do. It's kind of the last test session here in Colorado. There's a couple races outside of the states, and I guess depending on how the test session goes, we may drive out of the state to go race those, but we'll see. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Even though it's late, still GSD. Catch you guys on the next one.